Soundwave. Superior? Well, we're about to find out when we compare my custom Siege Soundwave with the Shockwave Labs upgrade kit to the Netflix Soundwave. And guess what? Both of these guys, kinda, sorta, can pull off every single mode. Let's see who wears it better in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby! And hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton. Let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, a whole bunch of groups that I either am a mod for or an admin for. All those links are in the description below. Check out all my social media links. Wow, I lost my words there for a second. They're all in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a member. And two Soundwaves, man, both of them very, very, very good, honestly. I really like this Soundwave. I really like this Soundwave, and I didn't think I was going to like this one as much. I thought he was going to be more limited, but wouldn't you know it, he's actually not. Now, there are things I like about this one better, there are things I like about this one better. And as a matter of fact, there's bits and pieces between the two of them that I might very well interchange to make the most ideal one. It's a lot to unpack here, but it's going to be a fun time because both, especially since this guy has the Shockwave Labs upgrade, both can do a robot mode, both can do a version of the Lamppost, both of them can do a version of the cassette player mode thing, and both of them can do some sort of a weird ship thing. Granted, this one you have to use your imagination with a little bit more for that. We're going to see, though, overall, who wears it better, or do they do it the same? Is either one superior? Well, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at these guys. And yes, here we have the Netflix War for Cybertron Trilogy version of Soundwave, along with Laserbeak and Ravage, of course. And I've seen a lot of like side-by-side comparisons and whatnot, but I have yet to see someone do all three modes. And, well, 4 modes, I guess, if you include robot. And we're going to endeavor to do that here and kind of see exactly how these guys match up as we go through. Naturally, the focus is mostly going to be here. But before we get into the plastic offerings, and yes, I'll note here, before we go on with anything, that Laserbeak on my Netflix version will tab into and sit on the arm. I can get Laserbeak to sit on the arm of the Siege one, but I've never ever been able to get my Laserbeak or my copy of Laserbeak to like tab in to the arm on Siege. So this Laserbeak actually sits better than the other Laserbeak for me. That said, here we have the packaging, and I saw this guy in store once, maybe twice, but that's not where I got him. I ordered this guy from Walmart.ca, and it was one of the rare times he was in there. Evidently, he's been really hard to get. I don't know if that's everywhere or just here, but he's been like super hard to get. My box was a little kind of jacked up here on the corner when it arrived, shipped. Luckily, I'm not a mint and seal box guy. Soundwave art over here, cool, I guess. The typical artwork for the series over there, and of course our product images on the back. We have ourselves fine instructions. They're good. The paper feels really thin that they're on, but like they're fine. They're not quite as good as the Siege Earthrise instructions have been, I find, but they're okay. I don't know if they're supposed to be a part of the whole Teletran 1 system inside the Voyagers or not. Like I said, Wave 1 has never come here, and Wave 2, pretty sparse. But my Hotlink did not have a part of Teletran in the box, and this guy does not have a part of Teletran in the box. He comes with the hand blaster that he should come with. The one on the bottom is the one that comes with Siege with the red detailing on it. The one up top is the one that comes with the 3-pack without the red detailing. Shout out to Ninja Bill. He indicated that the gray was slightly different and the blue was slightly different, and he might be right. To the naked eye, I don't find any difference, but possibly the Siege one is slightly darker. That being said, if you want to like mix and match, I don't think that the difference is enough that it would even really be noticeable. Exact same situation for the shoulder thing. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a blaster on a shoulder. It probably is the thing that makes sound waves. The one on top this time, just to jazz things up, the one on top is the Siege one with the red detailing. The one on bottom is the one that comes with the 3-pack. Again, there might be a ever so slight difference in the blue, but if you want to mix and match and you prefer the red, for example, like you can do that. They're comparable. Now we're gonna kick things off with the Netflix Ravage, who is, I guess, like an Earth mode Ravage. I unfortunately don't have a Siege version to compare to. Why? Not that I didn't have a Siege version, but the Siege versions that I had got customized to become the minions for Lyle Kaiser and his entire team. So if you want to see the Siege one, like kind of go back there. Nevertheless, this is the Netflix one, and I will talk about it in comparison to the Siege one. He is in cassette mode. Okay, we'll see if he fits in Soundwave's chest later any better than he did in the Siege Soundwave's chest. I think this is a more convincing cassette mode. In terms of the transformation, exact same thing. We lift out the front paws here. We fold down and out the whole section there. And we fold down and around. I just knocked off a leg. Awesome. We fold down and around that leg. That doesn't feel good. I don't like this one as much. I don't find the transformation as smooth as the Siege one. And then we fold up the head and we fold down those. I need to put that other leg back on and then we'll talk about them. Okay, so now that Ravage got 4 legs again, like we know that this isn't the strongest Ravage mold. And I do find that all the joints on this one, it's almost like they're ratcheted. They feel so much tighter. Maybe some people would like that, but to me, for something as slight and small as this, they almost feel too tight, man. So, what is different between this and the Siege one? First things first. I think I prefer the Siege one because I find the transformation a little smoother, even though the cassette mode isn't quite as good. Starting from the, we'll say the back, working our way up. The back legs on both, in terms of detailing, very, very, very similar. As well, the silver paint on the little, like, hip blasters, I guess, missiles, that's also silver on both. As we come up the body is black. The neck is mostly black with a gray peg. They both have that gray peg. The head of the stock Siege one has red eyes and a closed mouth. The head of this one has silver eyes and an open, like, snarling mouth. I prefer the closed mouth and the red eyes personally, but that teach their own. But it is a different head sculpt, so I'll give credit where credit is due. Now, when it comes to the front legs, I like the front legs of the Siege one more, and here's why. Because the entire, like, front leg, right from shoulder down to paw, was gray, except the paw itself is actually black. With this one, the upper part of the leg is black, and it's just the lower part of the front leg that is gray, and the paw is still not black. So I feel like the coloration of what they tried to do with the Siege hit it a little bit better. But that's not the selling point of this set, I don't think. Well, let's move on to part 2 and look at Laserbeak next. First things first, both of them can sit on the arm. For me, as I previously stated, the Siege Laserbeak does not quite tab onto the Siege Soundwave arm. It sits there, but it's not tabbed in, and when I try, it kind of pops out. The Netflix Laserbeak, or Earth Mode Laserbeak, if you will fit and tab in. Not the best, but it does tab in on the arm of Soundwave from that 3-pack, so I think that, like, that's a little bit better, but that's purely a tolerance issue. It was luck of the draw. Whereas, I think the paint scheme was a little more animation accurate on the Siege Ravage, giving the kind of siege trio will say, the point. This time around, I think it would be a tie, because the question is, do you want a Cybertronian mode Laserbeak, and or do you want an Earth mode Laserbeak? If you want a Cybertronian mode that harkens back to that scene at the beginning of G1 that started it all, then you're definitely going to want the siege one with his visor. If you want that iconic look that he had for most of his existence, then you're going to want the one from the Netflix set. Both of them operate exact same way. Both of them have nice paint, to be honest with you. If I take this one and put him up, can I put him up? Like that, and I take this one and put him up like that. Yes, there's extra detailing on the Netflix one with the yellow, but it lacks a Decepticon logo on that silver piece, as where the stock one does have a Decepticon logo on that silver piece. So, the head sculpts are quite different, but I think both of them are very successful. I'm going to try and show them up close now just so you can see those differences. Well-known visored siege head with its hook beak. I love this. It looked exactly like it did in that first scene. But then, man, look at the Netflix one. The beak is actually brought in, I'll say, tighter. Now, it does make transforming to bird mode more difficult because it's really hard to root this head out of its space. The angling of the eye, perfect. The Decepticon logo, crisp. This is such a well done head sculpt. Transformation to cassette mode is exactly what you would expect it to be, with this folding back, the head folding in, these folding down, and the legs folding out to give us a cassette that looks beautiful. Now here's why we all came here. Here's the main show. And that is obviously going to be Soundwave versus Soundwave. Now, I did do a little bit of custom work on my Soundwave. So, stock at a package. The stock Soundwave, by rights, cannot do a cassette mode for Siege. And, by rights, he should have a chest plate that's like cracked up and whatnot. And he does have scuffing and battle damage down on his lower legs. If you like the battle damage look, then the Siege Soundwave is for you. If you're okay with him not having a traditional cassette mode, at least not officially, then the Siege one might be fine for you. However, when we look at robot to robot, it really depends on your aesthetics. Do you like the battle damage look, and do you like the extra detailing down on the lower legs, such as the yellow, and I guess pink lights that are colored? Do you like the red bands around the wrists, for example? Though I painted the eyes red, do you prefer the yellow eyes and the yellow light piping? If so, the Siege one is probably for you. If you are saying, no man, he has to do cassette, no, I don't like that chest, I don't care about the red, then maybe, and I want a red visor with that light piping instead of yellow, then maybe the Netflix one's for you. What is weaker on the Netflix? Well, the lower legs don't have as much detailing. Yes, they're flat and clean, but it's too bad that we don't have the little sections colored in with the yellow, pink. Or yellow, I want to say yellow, pink. And a lot of people have complained and said that the yellow around the chest is a little too yellow, man. Maybe it should have been more of a goldy yellow like the lines coming off the side. I get the argument for all of that, and some people have said, you know, I wish that he had the red line detailing. I get that too. So, in terms of robot, I think it's an aesthetic choice. Honestly, I would say it's a tie. In terms of look, both of them easily get a 9.5. Like, you know it's Soundwave, man. But neither is absolutely perfect. In terms of articulation, and they actually do the exact same thing. We have a head that can go left and right and look up and down. So does the Siege. Arm all the way around. Way out to the side, so can the Siege. Elbow to 90 degrees. Bicep swivel. This piece down here is like a built-in hand blaster thing. Put that back. The wrist can go in. No wrist rotation. Both have a waist. Now, actually the Siege one might be slightly better because of the way the transformation goes on the Siege one. The upper body has to be able to extend on a hinge, which does kind of give him an ab crunch that this guy don't have because we do not have that extending piece. I was concerned about the legs being able to go back, but this flap can get out of the way for the legs to go all the way back. the front flap can get out of the way for the legs to go all the way forward. We have a thigh swivel, we have a 90-degree knee, and we have an ankle tilt. Both of them really do excellent with the articulation. This one missing one hinge. I'll show that on the Siege just extended, just so you know, like, hey, GotBot's not lying to you. Just gotta extend it and get it done. You know, just so we're clear here. The hips are straight. He has a little bit of an ab crunch. As a matter of fact, I could probably make it a bit like the hips are still straight and he can bend over a fair amount on this hinge in here. The Netflix one doesn't have that. So I have to give a slight edge to articulation to the Siege because of that. If the Siege's articulation, because I don't remember what I scored, but I'm going to say that it was, if it wasn't a 10, it was a 9.75. The only thing missing is wrist swivel. Then this guy is, say, a 9.5, you know? That one hinge is the one thing that makes a difference. Neither is bad by any stretch of the imagination. So we have solid 9 and a 9.5, 9.25 for this one, whereas the Siege one is probably a 9.5 at this point because of that one extra hinge. Really close between the two so far. So we're going to go to a Lamppost mode next. Again, not official, but I'm going to show it anyway. Which one pulls off the Lamppost mode better? Well, we're about to find out. So you open that back and you put the head in and you flip that piece up. You come to the back of the legs and if I can open it. There, open that out, flip that in, bring this piece down, open. Man, are these tight on this boy. Flip that in and down. You can either leave the legs straight on like this, or if you are inclined, you can turn them slightly like that. Then these pieces flip up and we flip in the hand, we flip in the hand, we open this out and we open this out, we bring this arm up and we rotate it this way, we bring this arm up and we rotate it this way. Is this official? No. This is pure fan mode by yours truly. And we bend them ever so slightly at the waist. I just want to make sure I have this angled the way I like it. And boom, here we have a very G1 inspired Lamppost mode. Next to, yep, Siege and Netflix Trilogy versions of the Lamppost mode. Now, to be fair, this isn't the official Siege version because the weird schematic thing that was like the hidden official version actually has the arms in a different configuration, but as a G1 homage, a lot of fans, myself included, like to be able to put them out to the side. I think, personally, for me, that the Netflix one pulls it off a little bit better because I find that I can angle the arms a little bit better than I can with the Netflix. Like I find with the with the Siege one, I find I want to move the arms a little bit different at a little bit of a different angle than they're capable of doing, but I feel like the Netflix one pulls it off a little bit better. This is going to be open, of course, for debate. It doesn't affect the score, but if I was going to give the point here, I would give it to the Netflix one. So for those keeping track, currently this guy's scoring a 9.25 and the Siege is scoring a 9.5 because of the ab crunch ability. In terms of scores, right now the Siege won with Ravage, the Netflix won with Laserbeak, although that was kind of a tie, to be honest with you. It's just, I like the Earth Laserbeak better. And Robot mode was a tie, and Lamppost mode went to Siege. What about cassette player mode? I think we know that the Netflix is automatically going to get the point for cassette player mode, but how well can the Siege pull it off compared to this? Well, to do the cassette player mode here, we take the arms and we bring them down, and of course we bring them to the back. There are tabs on the back of the arms that go into slots right there, or they should. Really tight on mine, plus the arms tab together down here. So we tab those arms together, we bring these in, they should tab in, and they should, oh, I gotta, before I do that, I got ahead of myself. My mistake, I have to turn him at the waist. My mistake, I had to turn the guy at the waist. Now I can bring the arms behind. And we tab them in and we bring them together. We take the hip here and we bring out this gray piece and we bring out this gray piece. We turn the legs so that the light blue is out and we fold it up on the side and we fold it up on the side. When we fold it up, there's a little rectangular slot there that this peg for the shoulder went into. Well, now there's a peg on the heel that will go in there. As we get this up and angle correctly, we should be able to squeeze all of that together. Then we bring this down. When we bring this down, there's a little rectangular peg there and a little rectangular peg there. A hole in this gray piece and a hole in this gray piece. It's the unpainted gray that's next to the silver. Little unfortunate it's unpainted, but I mean, it is what it is. Squeeze all of that in, squeeze all of that down, make sure it's tabbed in, and boom, here we have the Netflix Soundwave in his cassette player mode. And yes, this looks glorious next to our somewhat makeshift Siege version. So what can we say here? The Netflix one looks more typical. The Siege one looks busier, but you know what? If you squint a little bit, yeah, it works. It certainly works with the add-on kit. Though the way the arms slide back with the add-on kit, they're still pretty loose. But you know what? Like, I don't have an issue with either of these. Naturally, the Netflix one looks more cohesive and traditional. It obviously gets the wing. What about the cassettes? Can they go in the chest? I always found that they were dubious in the chest of the Siege one. Here's Ravage. We'll try. Ravage, yeah, Ravage fits in there. It's, and it still opens. It's not bad. Let's try Laserbeak. Try Laserbeak this way. Yeah, Laserbeak fits in there. And when it opens, Laserbeak actually flies right out. I'd say the chest works a little bit better on the Netflix one as well. Now we're going to go to a ship mode. Now, to be fair, there is no ship mode for this one. So this is 150% just me fiddling to come up with something that, I mean, how successful, honestly, is the ship mode of the official? It just looks like a brick and they say it flies. But if you want them to have some measure of mobility, let's see if we can fan mode something here. So we come here and I will take that off and I will take that off. We will undo the legs here. Pick that off and we'll undo that leg and bring it down. Why not? The arms here, let's take these out and let's sort of bring them up like this. And we'll bring them together and we can fold out these pieces. Maybe they can act as like thrusters of some sort. Bring the shoulders in like that. Will they stay pegged together? Something like that, maybe. We rotate the waist around and we'll bring this piece down to kind of maybe help with some sort of stability. I guess you could just like leave the legs like this, but like it's gonna fall down. So maybe what we need to do is flip this piece up and flip this piece up so it doesn't just all look like buttons there. And let's come out here and let's turn at the, let's do something like that maybe. So we're gonna bring this up, turn the hip so that we can angle it down and adjust the like thigh, leg area. This is, I mean, this is rough, there's no doubt, but so is the official. Like in terms of like weird alien ship mode, I don't know, we'll do that. Let's take this piece and maybe it can fit there like that as like a thruster of some sort, and maybe that one like a Star Trek nacelle, right? You know, there's a weird There's a weird type of ship mode-ish thing. How does it compare to the actual Siege one? I mean, I don't know if either really wins in the weird alien ship department, because neither of this really looks like a ship. But obviously, whereas the cassette mode looked more cohesive with the Netflix one, the ship mode here looks more cohesive with the Siege one. So the Siege one will get the point here. So we have two things to kind of clue up. Who had more points, and what is the final score? What is the score for transformation? Well, for the Netflix, I think that the transformation is a little smoother, to be honest with you. I think things tab a little bit tighter, better. So if the Siege had a transformation of 9.5, then I think the Netflix has a transformation of 9.75. So whereas Siege 1 just slightly in articulation because of that waist joint, I think the Netflix one wins in terms of transformation because the joints are smoother and tighter, at least on my copy. What does that mean? It means the overall score for the Siege is probably around a 9.5. The overall score for the Netflix is probably around a 9.5 for slightly different reasons. Both are tremendous offerings for Soundwave. In terms of scores, it was pretty much a tie for Robot. It was pretty much a tie for the Lamppost mode, though I personally give the nod to the Netflix one. The Netflix one also wins cassette, and the Siege one wins the ship mode. So it's neck and neck. Final analysis, there is no loser here. They're neck and neck for excellent, and personally I want a bit of an amalgamation of both, so that's what I did here. I have the body, torso, head of the Netflix. I have the blaster and the shoulder piece of the Siege, because I like the red detailing. And because from the bicep down is just connected by a mushroom peg, I popped out the biceps and lower arms of the Netflix, again with the red line around the wrist, and I put it on, sorry, of the Siege, with the red line around the wrist, and I put it on the Netflix, and I still have the forearm fillers that come as part of the Shockwave Labs add-on kit. As for the Siege boy himself, now he has still an excellent mode. I mean, he just doesn't have the red on his arms now, and his shoulder thing and hand thing doesn't have the red on it, but like he still works just fine. And I still have the sliders for doing cassette mode left on the Siege one as well. Not a loser. Whether you have the Siege or the Netflix or both, you win. We finally have probably the most definitive of Soundwaves that we're ever going to get in the main line. And so here we are, and here they are once again. There's not a loser here. They're both fantastic. Honestly, they're both really fantastic. Robot modes. Comparable. I think I like this one slightly better, only because I prefer the chest instead of the yellow on here, but I do like the lower legs of this one better. Not a loser, and I like the red light piping. This one had yellow light piping. I painted it red. So it's comparable. And I don't really like the back flap here, but it gets out of the way. There's not a loser. Robot mode, great, but I subjectively think I prefer this one slightly more. Backpack, no backpack, whatever. Cassette mode. Obviously the Netflix one. But with the Shockwave Labs upgrade kit, the Siege one does it pretty convincingly too. Ship mode, the Siege. This one, if you squint, you know, turn your head to the side and have a good imagination, you can do a ship mode, right? Lamppost mode, the Netflix one. So, like, both of them kind of win or lose, have strengths and weaknesses, but neither's bad. Both of them are absolutely fantastic. Whatever one you choose, man, you win. They have nailed it out of the ballpark with this iteration of Soundwave. This is the Soundwave I think fans have always been waiting for, whether it's this one or this one. Let me know which Soundwave is your Soundwave du jour. I appreciate you coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know, man, how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. Don't forget, man, that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference, and I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.